Now to a project that gives new meaning to the term art rock. This is Somerset House, the palatial 18th century complex of buildings alongside the Thames in central London, which hosts various artistic activities and is home to cultural organisations, including the Courtauld Institute. And today, a new artistic project started down in the vaults of the building. Not an art exhibition as such, but an installation of sorts. The singer-songwriter P J Harvey is recording her new album in there, watched by a succession of audiences. And she's working with her band in a sealed studio behind one-way glass. She can't see out, but we can see in. And she's making the follow-up to her Mercury Prize-winning album, Let England Shake. The P J Harvey project, Recording in Progress, has been put together by the Artangel organisation, and I'm here with co-director Michael Morris. Michael, what's the idea behind this?
Well, Artangel projects have always placed sort of an equal emphasis on the process by which a work comes to fruition. And I suppose for the last sort of year or so, we've been talking to Polly about doing something with Artangel, and one thing led to another. And we decided, at her instigation, that we would make an installation of her process of recording the next album so that you could see presented a process in all its highs and lows, longers and dramatic moments.
So anything could be happening in the slot that you
Anything
get.
could be happening.
She's not looking at
her
bass
watch.
part.
She's not looking at her watch and thinking, oh, here comes the public.
Okay.
Let's do something exciting.
So it's not a performance in that way.
It isn't, and we've deliberately sort of excised the word performance from all the materials, but actually, of course, watching it, you realise that there is a performance going on, but it's the performance of the working day of musicians and engineers in the studio. I think you could probably do this project in any working environment, actually, behind one-way glass, whether it's a sort of a bakery, a factory. I think actually it's kind of really interesting watching people work and the dedication, the kind of the blood, the sweat. It's a complex process.
Well, Polly Jean Harvey has been working since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm going to go in there to see how she's been getting on. So I've just come back up from the vaults of the building in Somerset House where Polly Jean Harvey is recording her new album. And now I'm joined by Kate Mossman, the arts editor of the New Statesman magazine, who was down there with me watching that part of the session. We were there for 45 minutes, Kate. P J Harvey doesn't want anybody to know what this new album is going to sound like, so we weren't allowed to record anything down there, so we've had to come back out into the courtyard. What did you think?
Well, I was very concerned when I heard that it was being billed as an art project because I thought she was going to be sort of suspended David Blaine style in a glass case with an auto harp and maybe plucking the odd note and not doing anything for long stretches of time. But it was beautifully unpretentious because there's no space of pretension in the paraphernalia of a studio that size. And with an artist like Polly Harvey, you've got hurdy-gurdies, you've got, a bass harmonica the size of a handbag, you've got endless leads and wires everywhere. And it really captured the sort of magical mundaneness of a recording studio for me. You see musicians on another setting, they go into this sort of strange, stupefied state, staring at their shoes, nodding their heads. And for anyone who actually really likes her, it would be the best thing next to being her best mate, I'd imagine. It's sort of fascinating experience.
And we heard her as we arrived recording a violin overdub for a backing track which clearly had been recorded earlier today, the first song that she's done for this new record. She's already put down a guide vocal and it seems to be about the Washington monuments. There's a reference to Vietnam there and to Lincoln, which links us back to her last album as well, Let England Shake, which was about war.
Yes, it sounds like a sort of gutsy concept album, possibly about money. There was something that was just choreographed enough about this. I love the fact that there was a big track listing on the wall. There was her coat of arms was sort of drawn up on the white space and stuff. And there was a sense that there is a lot of momentum behind this record. We actually probably saw about 2 notes being recorded in the entire
of what
45 minutes
record.
that we were there.
Yeah. But really catchy though, I've got to say that.
Catchy and sort of just curated enough in that we actually heard the line. I couldn't believe we heard the line, I think that's it. That's a wrap, everybody, at one point. And then at one point, the producer Flood stood up and said, I think we want a harmonica in there. I think we want an accordion in there as well.
Started laying down more
tracks. And
tracks.
she did speak a little bit as well, so that was kind of a bit of a thrill.
But it makes you wonder how much is going to be choreographed for the audiences, because I think she's recording for 8 or 9 hours a day. So what you see is kind of really random. I mean, it's a chance encounter with whatever is happening in the studio at any one time.
Yes, you'd like to think so. I mean, I think there must be some element, particularly with today as the first session. They must have got something together for us, because we happened to get this beautiful chorus that we're all singing in our heads now. Now, that can't be a coincidence. But I think she's smart enough to give something to the audience every day, which is a relief, because it could have been just silence and plugging leads in,
And listening to, as I say, she doesn't want us to record anything down there, so she doesn't want anything to leak out in advance. But it is a really catchy, that song that we heard is very catchy. Maybe you can give us a burst of the melody that was going on.
So it goes da 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 da. It's like a proper, it's like a sea shanty.
It's stuck in my head.
Proper P J Harvey.
So it sounds like it could be quite, for P J Harvey, it could be quite a poppy record by her standards. But the real question, is it art?
I think it's art if the concept is interesting enough to go beyond the music and even beyond the audience. And I think this is the kind of thing that people remember. It's a bit like, that wonderful Martin Creed idea of let's ring all the church bells in England at the same point.
Yeah.
No one can hear that sound. Obviously, it wasn't done in the end because it's probably too difficult to orchestrate. But I think when you've got an element of wit there and you remember this great thing that Polly Harvey did in Somerset House, then I think it probably is art on that level.
Kate Mossman, thank you very much. P J Harvey remains ensconced in her white studio in the vaults of Somerset House. The project is called Recording in Progress. It goes on until the 14th of February.